Tonight on NewsWatch, crisis for New Jersey Governor Christie, how new revelations about his administration could hurt a possible run for president.
Plus, how the Jordan Valley is posing a problem for peace talks in the Middle East.
And we'll show you some of the key things happily married couples have in common. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening, I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Wendy Griffith. One of the Republican Party's brightest stars is fighting to put an end to a political scandal.
New Jersey Governor Christie says he did not know about a plan to use a giant traffic jam as a weapon against a Democratic mayor.
Dale Hurd explains in tonight's top story.
The first thing Governor Christie did was apologize for members of his staff who engaged in a game of political payback.
I am embarrassed and humiliated by the conduct of some of the people on my team.
Emails indicated top Christie aides intentionally caused a 4-day gridlock back in September by closing 2 of the 3 lanes on the busiest bridge in America, the George Washington Bridge. It happened on the first day of school. Cars were bumper to bumper, emergency vehicles delayed, all apparently an act of political retribution. After the Democrat mayor of Fort Lee declined to support Christie for re-election, a member of his staff sent this email. Time for some traffic problems in Fort Lee. The response, got it. Today, Christie announced the staffer who sent that email, Bridget Kelly, has been fired.
Because she lied to me.
I apparently got somebody mad at me. Those emails are pretty damning. Who in their right mind would close down access to the busiest bridge in the world to send me a message?
The incident ignited a media feeding frenzy against the popular governor. The controversy comes at a critical moment for Christie, seen as a likely GOP frontrunner for president in 2016. The governor will soon celebrate his second inauguration and travel the country as leader of the Republican Governors Association. But the bridge fallout could tarnish Christie's tough-talking, no-nonsense style that some critics say goes too far.
Damn, man, I'm governor. Could you just shut up for a second?
But today, the brash governor admitted that the scandal had blindsided him.
I had no knowledge or involvement in this issue, in its planning or its execution, and I am stunned by the abject stupidity that was shown here.
A U.S. attorney is reviewing the matter, and the New Jersey State Legislature has launched an investigation. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
And for more on this, we turn now to our chief political correspondent, David Brody. David, before we look at it as if this could hurt a presidential run, do we know for sure that Christie will run in 2016?
Well, you use the words for sure, so the answer is not for sure, but look, Mark, between you, me, and the 4 walls and the whole audience, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, he's going to run. He's been looking at this for the last few years. He's been talking with donors, and quite frankly, he's made he's given every indication, actually, that he's going to run, or at least he's seriously thinking about it. So yes, and the GOP establishment crowd believes he is going to get into the fray in the next year or so.
So how could these revelations hurt Christie?
Well, there are a couple of ways. First of all, he does have this reputation of being bombastic, of being, some have called him, a bully. And if you just quickly do a YouTube search of Christie and town hall events, you will see him dressed down regular tax-paying New Jerseyans ad nauseum. And it happens all the time. And so now you have this scandal that is engulfing his administration. And what ends up happening is you start to make that bully reputation even more so. So you've got the town hall dress downs. You've got this that seems to be somewhat of a bullying situation. And it is not a good, if you will, not a good place for Christie to be as he heads into a 2006 presidential campaign.
Many point to the New Jersey governor as the model for what the Republican Party needs to become. Would you say this is a setback for the GOP on the whole?
No, I don't think so, Mark. I think this is going to be isolated to Chris Christie and his temperament. Is he a guy that is ready to be president of the United States? And those YouTube clips when he's dressing down folks at town halls will go to that. I will say, as it relates to this scandal, it'll play into that. But in terms of the GOP message overall, actually, Chris Christie positions himself pretty well as a guy that seems to be relatively moderate, who can play the conservative card when he needs to, play the moderate card when he needs to, and a guy that gets along with a lot of independent voters in this country and especially in his state. And so I think he actually sets himself pretty well up politically. I think the issue is going to be temperament with Christie. That's the big one.
Well, let's talk about credibility. Do you think he's lost any real credibility with this?
Well, I think that remains to be seen, and we'll find out here in the next few weeks. Will this be a trickle situation? In other words, Christie says he knew nothing about any of this, but, oh my goodness, in about a week or maybe a few days from now, what if all of a sudden he did know, or there's sense that he did know, or there's other aides that knew, and all of a sudden Christie's the only one that didn't know? And that raises the question of, well, how could the governor of a state like New Jersey not know any of this was going on? And so I think we'll find out soon enough whether or not this hurts his reputation. I do think the issue will be, though, how much he knew, when did he know it, and if we find out that we don't know the whole story now, that could be a problem.
All right, David, thanks for your insights. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
And for more from David, make sure you check out his weekly show and blog, The Brody File. You can find both at our website, cbnnews.com.
So much of government spending is wasteful. Many say it's one of the major reasons America is in such deep debt. A House committee today tried to highlight the problem, asking the Senate's #1 critic of wasteful spending to testify. Senator Tom Coburn gave one example after another of waste or duplication in government.
We have 679 renewable energy programs from 23 different agencies, costing $15 billion a year.
We could eliminate a third of the deficit simply by eliminating known and recognized waste.
Chairman Issa says his committee is willing to vote once a week for the major cuts in wasteful spending that Senator Coburn targets.
Representatives from Iran and 6 world powers hope to reach an agreement this week on a nuclear deal. The deal was signed 7 weeks ago, but Iran's desire to continue enriching uranium could delay its enactment. A 2-day meeting between both sides began today in Geneva. Uranium can be quickly turned into nuclear weapons-grade material. Iran claims it's enriching only to make reactor fuel.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is traveling the Middle East in search of a peace agreement between Israelis and Palestinians. But one reported part of the agreement has many Israelis worried. Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story from Israel's Jordan Valley.
Kerry is expected back in Israel soon for another round of talks. Those talks could have a major impact on one of Israel's most strategic areas. The Jordan Valley straddles the border between Israel and the Kingdom of Jordan. According to some reports, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is proposing an international force, perhaps U.S. troops, to control the valley and eventually turn it over to the Palestinian Authority. The Jordan Valley runs from the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea. It's about 75 miles long and 9 miles wide. It forms a natural barrier between Israel and its neighbors to the east, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. Many see it as Israel's security belt, a geographical barrier and an indispensable military buffer. It's been reported the Palestinian Authority is demanding the Jordan Valley as part of an agreement with Israel. But should Israel give up this strategic piece of land?
That Israel is entitled to defensible borders on which Israel can defend itself with its own forces. And the only available defensible borders is here in the Jordan Valley.
Retired General Uzi Dayan lectures military leaders around the world about the strategic value of the Jordan Valley. He also points out it's only 40 miles from the Jordan Valley to the Mediterranean Sea.
Almost everybody understands that my 3 points which says defensible borders should give you a strategic depth, a capability to defend yourself from an outside attack, and combating effectively terrorism.
Diane also says instability on Israel's eastern front in Syria, Iraq, and Jordan is another reason to keep the Jordan Valley. David El Haini, the mayor of the Jordan Valley Regional Council, wonders what will happen if Israel's friends are wrong.
Our friends, the United States, the European states, says take chance, take risk for the peace, and give up all the area. And what will happen after 5 and 10 years if we will take those risks? And the border will be near Tel Aviv, and they will throw fire and bombs to Tel Aviv. We can't take any risk. The Jordan Valley has to be under Israeli sovereignty.
Past history has made Israelis reluctant to give away land. In 2000, they pulled out of South Lebanon, and Hezbollah filled that vacuum. In 2005, Israel pulled out of Gaza, and now Hamas controls that area. While the peace talks go on, many don't want the same fate to come to the Jordan Valley. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Jordan Valley.
Former NBA basketball star Dennis Rodman says he's sorry for comments implying North Korea has justifiably imprisoned American Christian Kenneth Bay. Rodman has now apologized for his outburst, saying he'd been drinking and under a lot of stress when he made the statements in a CNN interview. Gary Lane asked Seoul USA's Eric Foley what North Korean believers think of Rodman's visit to the country, which is listed as the world's worst persecutor of Christians.
North Korean Christians inside North Korea or in China or Russia, not a single one of them that I have ever spoken with has been in favor of any kind of visitation to North Korea. The history of North Korea is that North Korea sets things up that way. They want you to make the personal appeal to them behind the scenes, and that's why they hold on to certain political prisoners. It's because it's in their best interest. They're bargaining chips.
To see the rest of that interview, you can visit Gary's blog, The Global Lane, at our website, cbnnews.com.
Coming up, it's already a deadly flu season. A look at how to fight the illness.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
The flu is back in full force. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 25 states are seeing high numbers of influenza. Texas is experiencing the worst outbreak so far. At least 21 deaths have been reported in that state. Some experts warn it might get worse before it gets better. Flu season doesn't reach its peak until mid-January and lasts through February.
And for more now, we turn to our ace medical reporter, Lori Johnson. And Lori, as Mark just said, the peak of flu season is upon us. Many people here at CBN dealing with it as well. Is it too late to get the flu shot?
No, it is not too late to get the flu shot, but keep in mind it takes 2 weeks for the flu shot to take effect. And this is why we sometimes hear people say, I got the flu shot and then I got the flu. Well, it's because they got the flu in that 2-week window between when they got the shot and when it started protecting them. So the best time to get a flu shot is before the flu season starts, ideally in October, Wendy.
Okay, well, let's say we can't get the flu shot or get it in time. What are some things we can do to possibly prevent getting the flu?
Well, even if you do get a flu shot, you should be on guard because the flu shot is only 60% effective, even though it is the best protection and most doctors recommend it. But the reason it's only 60% effective is because there are only 3 strains of the flu in the vaccine. And sometimes people are exposed to strains that aren't in the vaccine. So regardless of whether you've been vaccinated, take the following precautions. Number 1, wash your hands and make sure to lather for 20 seconds. That's how long it takes to sing the happy birthday song twice. If you can't wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, but make sure it's 60% alcohol. That'll be on the label. Also, disinfect the surfaces, your laptop computer, the doorknob, your refrigerator handle, because get this, germs live on hard surfaces for 2 days. Also, make sure to get your 8 hours because sleep strengthens your immune system. Take a multivitamin. The powdered kind are best because a lot of times the pills aren't absorbed well enough. Also, exercise and pray because those things reduce stress. And we all know stress is a killer. It weakens your immune system. Also, here's a big one. Avoid sugar and trans fats because those food items increase inflammation and inflammation weakens your immune system. On the other hand, take fish oil because that reduces inflammation. So it'll strengthen your immune system. And here's my favorite one, take coconut oil because coconut oil is a natural antiviral, antibacterial, and this is my secret weapon for staying healthy. A lot of our viewers know coconut oil is used for Alzheimer's prevention and treatment, but it's also wonderful for preventing infection. Here's Dr. Beverly Teeter, who's an expert on the subject.
But the coconut oil tends to keep the bacteria down so that if you're assaulted with the virus, your immune system can concentrate on the virus. It doesn't have to concentrate on 27 other bacteria that you may have been exposed to that day.
So take a tablespoon of coconut oil a day. You might want to work up to 1 in the morning and 1 at night.
Well, I feel pretty good. I did a lot of things on that list. I did not avoid sugar, however. But when that was a big scoop of coconut oil. That looked like more than a tablespoon, but I'm always afraid to take too much because it's a fat.
No, it is a fat and it has 120 calories per tablespoon. But yeah, go ahead and eat your coconut oil. It's so good for you.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, Lori. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Mark?
All right, up next, why marriage could make couples happier in the long run.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Here's a disturbing story. More unmarried Americans are moving in together as a result of pregnancy instead of getting married. Statistics show that for the first time, fewer couples that become pregnant are choosing a so-called shotgun marriage. The National Center for Health Statistics reports about 18% of all single women who became pregnant opted to move in with their boyfriends. Only 5% chose marriage after getting pregnant. And Wendy, some couples decide to live together instead of marrying because they aren't sure they'll stay happy in the long run.
Yeah, it's weird. But as Paul Strand explains in tonight's Focus Report, staying in love for a lifetime, not as hard as you might think.
These days, marriage gets a bad rap. More and more attention is paid to divorce statistics, and you rarely see or hear about any couples living their dream for a lifetime.
The cliche is that in American suburbs like these, people are leading lives of quiet desperation. But the fact is, many are not desperate at all, and they're living in really happy marriages that will last a lifetime. Now there's a book that shares the secrets of how they stay highly happy and married forever.
Before we got married,
Atlanta's Shanti Feldhahn and her husband Jeff have already written relationship bestsellers like For Women Only and For Men Only. Now this Harvard-trained researcher has gathered comprehensive data and research about really satisfied husbands and wives. What she found? Happy couples share a few key attitudes and actions. She puts all this in The Surprising Secrets of Highly Happy Marriages and teaches that anyone can learn them. The first of these happy habits, believe the best of your spouse, no matter what happens. Choosing to believe they care for you turns almost any situation positive. Jeff learned this from his own experience.
I knew that I could trust her. I knew that she had my best interest. I knew that she loved me, and I would believe the best.
The happiest couples go, okay, they couldn't have meant it, they love me, and let's move on. It makes a huge difference when you assume the best.
Shanti's research includes Kim and Sabrina Moore. They personify another of those traits that bring long-term joy. They went all in. There's no escape route or any thought of the D word, divorce. They don't keep secret cash accounts in case the relationship crumbles. And Kim describes the results of not going all in.
Death, because it creates a wedge. And God has designed it for it to be complete intimacy. And you can't have intimacy if you have hidden pockets, things you're holding and hiding from each other.
Sabrina credits going all in for their 27-year union.
I believe that we are happier now than we've ever been.
And don't forget the little things. Thank your husband. Let him know you appreciate his efforts.
Saying it to a guy, that is his equivalent of I love you.
Men need to take their wife's hand, leave her thoughtful messages, and not be afraid of public displays of affection, like putting an arm around her.
All of those things convey that I'm choosing you all over again.
And men need to learn how to quickly get out of a bad mood.
So when he makes the effort to pull himself out of the funk and to not be grumpy, to not be morose, it's like, whew, this isn't going to go in this bad direction.
Another action of the highly happy, no unrealistic expectations. That's because if your spouse can't realistically meet your expectations, then you can't ever really be happy with them. Sabrina came into marriage with this problem.
There were expectations from her towards me that I had no idea that were there. So there was resentment that began to build up because she said, he should know this, and I didn't.
There would be this wedge and this wall between us that he couldn't comprehend. And I couldn't comprehend that he couldn't comprehend, so.
Your expectations have to change coming into this thing.
Shanti says the research proves without a doubt the homes that practice the habits and attitudes highlighted in her book will be joy-filled. Struggling couples can use them to turn their marriages around. And the Feldhahns want people to know this truth. that the 50% divorce rate is a myth. About 80% thrive and survive, not a measly half.
If you know, most marriages do make it. Most marriages are happy. It's a completely different feeling. Like, you know what? Statistically, we're going to be just fine. We can get through this because most people do.
So the facts show the reality is you have no reason to be fatalistic. Every couple has it in their power to make their marriage one that could truly be called highly happy. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thanks, Paul, for that happy story. Well, up next, typo or high tip. A mother of 4 goes the extra mile to make sure her point is clear.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Well, you've probably recently heard about people leaving unusually large tips for their servers at restaurants.
When one Texas woman wanted to get in on the action, she went above and beyond to make sure her waitress received the whole amount. Sarah Baca left a 250% tip on her $40 tab. The next day, Sarah noticed on her bank account, however, the waitress took less than she tipped, so she went back to the restaurant to make sure the waitress got the entire $100.
She only did a $10 tip, so I wanted to come by today and drop off $100 cash for her because I tipped $100 and she only took 10 of it. Yeah. And I thought, no, let me go back and give it to her.
They received it. I mean, I heard my manager talking about it earlier, but I said it wasn't me because I didn't think it was $100. I thought it was 10.
What a blessing. Daniela says nothing like this has ever happened to her, and she is very grateful. And she'll be blessed, and so will the giver of the $100, Sarah.
Oh, absolutely. Can't outgive.
That's right.
Oh, amazing. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of NewsWatch.
Yeah, remember you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Hope you'll join us next time.